Worldwide Sports here. With the NFL preseason now in the books, we're going to take a look at all 32 teams in the NFL and see how they stack up going into the regular season. Today we're talking about the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's get into it. First, let's take a look back at the last season the Chiefs had. The Chiefs went 12-4 and won their division. In the playoffs, they lost in the AFC divisional round to the Steelers, 18-16, in a hard-fought battle. Now, this is the second year in a row the Chiefs have lost in the divisional round by a combined 9 points. And both the quarterbacks they lost to, Tom Brady and Ben Roethlisberger, respectively, have multiple rings. Let's take a look at the offseason the Chiefs had and see how they look to reload going into the season. First off, the Chiefs had a lot of tough decisions to make with some veterans. This offseason they saw Deontay Poe lead to the Falcons, and they also released veterans Jeremy Maclin and Jamal Charles. The Chiefs were able to lock up star safety Eric Berry to a 6-year extension. To replace Charles, they brought in C.J. Spiller, the dynamic but often injured running back. And also they brought in Benny Logan to help ease the loss of Dontari Poe up front. The Chiefs also surprisingly shook up the front office. They fired John Dorsey, the GM. They promoted Brett Veach to be the new GM. They also locked up Andy Reid. Now let's take a dive back into the draft for the Chiefs. The Chiefs made a huge splash on draft night, trading up to number 10 spot to select quarterback Patrick Mahomes out of Texas Tech. Now I've seen many media outlets bash this pick, but I loved it. The Chiefs needed a new quarterback. We've seen it the last 2 times they've been in the playoffs. Alex Smith cannot win a game with his arm. He's a dual threat quarterback, but his arm talent is not enough to get this team to where they want to be. That's hosting the Lombardi Trophy. With Mahomes, they have a raw prospect who quarterback guru Andy Reid can mold into his liking. I love this pick for the Chiefs. In the second round of the draft, they selected Tano Capassanon, defensive end out of Villanova. In the third round of the draft, they selected running back Kareem Hunt out of Toledo. Hunt was very productive catching the ball out of the backfield last year. That's something that Andy Reid really loves in his running backs. Hunt caught 41 passes last year. In the fourth round, they selected Junie Chesson, wide receiver out of Michigan. With Jeremy Maclin leaving this offseason, the Chiefs needed some young talent to develop at the wide receiver spot. In the fifth round, they selected Yukeem Elingwe, outside linebacker out of Georgia Southern. And wrapping up the draft for the Chiefs, they selected Leon McQuay, defensive back out of USC. 3 or 4 years down the road, they'll be judging this Chiefs draft class based on how Mahomes pans out. But I like some of the other pieces they added. Now, quarterback Alex Smith has been here before. In San Francisco, had Colin Kaepernick come in, and he would later supplant him for the starting job. But Alex Smith was coming off a solid season last year. He threw for over 3,500 yards with 15 touchdowns and had 8 interceptions. With the departure of Jeremy Maclin, they're going to lean even more on star tight end. Last year, Kelsey had 85 catches for over 1,000 yards and 4 touchdowns. They still have the explosive all-around athlete Tyreek Hill. Hill last year had 61 grabs for over 500 yards and 6 touchdowns, and he only averaged 9.7 yards per catch last year. I look for that to take a huge leap. Last year, Hill had just under 300 yards while averaging 11.1 yards. On defense, they still have veteran and former Longhorn Derek Johnson. Last year, Johnson had 90 tackles, and star safety Eric Berry is coming off a year where he had 70-plus tackles and 4 interceptions and 2 touchdowns on defense. Up front, they still have the surprise pick Chris Jones, who showed off last year. Jones, the second-round pick, had 2 sacks, but was very disruptive in the backfield, totaling 4 tackles for loss. Dee Ford had 10 sacks last year. He was the main driving force of that pass rush, with guys like Justin Houston and Tom Ali battling injuries. Those two combined for 7.5 sacks last year. And the Chiefs probably had the best playmaker at the cornerback position in Marcus Peters. Peters last year had 6 interceptions and also caused a forced fumble. This Chiefs defense ranked 6th in the league last year, allowing just over 19 points per game. Going forward, I like the Chiefs' chance at winning their division. If there's 2 stalwarts, Tom Ali and Justin Houston, can get healthy, this defense is going to be even better. Alex Smith can handle the pressure of the young protege. I see this team making the playoffs and making some noise. Alright, guys, Worldwide Sports, we're getting out of here. Chiefs fans, let me know down below. Comment. How do you think this team is looking? How do you think they're going to do this year? Subscribe to the channel, guys. We got a lot more coming. Worldwide Sports, we are out. This has been a Worldwide Sports production.